What's up? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Servida. Let's talk about music theory. This video is brought to you by Melodies. Melodies is a desktop app that teaches you how to play the piano. All you need is a MIDI controller. Not only is this app great for learning to play piano, it's also a great tool to help you understand music theory along the way. After playing a few lessons, not only will it improve your piano playing skills, but it will also give you a lot of ideas for new bass lines, chord progressions, and melodies. And once you know how to play the piano, a lot of opportunities open up to you as a producer. For example, your workflow is going to be much faster. You can start incorporating this new skill at live shows. You will no longer need to rely on a session musician, or you could be that session musician. The possibilities are endless. Here I'm playing one of the lessons. I'm doing one of the harder difficulties because I'm nice with the keys. The interface overall is really good and it kind of just feels like I'm playing a game. If you want this app, all you have to do is click the first link in the description. It is free to download. So a few days ago, I asked you guys to comment your favorite trap songs, and today we're going to take a deeper dive into the theory of them. The first song we're going to look at is Sicko Mode. I know that there's two switch-ups, but the theory behind those are really simple, so we're just going to look at the intro. And by the way, I'm not going to play any of the original audio, because, you know. For the intro to Sicko Mode, there's actually two chord progressions going on. So it has this for the first half, and then for the second half, there's this. So let's move this to the side and take a look at the first chord progression. So here's the beginning chord progression. Let's take a look at the bass line. It's really simple. We have the root notes right here. We have them again at the octave, and then we have the fifth of the chord here, just doing a little descending pattern. Now this is a really good example of variation. By having these little passing notes at the beginning, it just makes the intro a bit more interesting. Like, we can always just delete this and put these at the front. It would still work. It'd be nowhere near as interesting as having it before though. I really like this progression because the chords are really lush and they have a lot of body to them. By listening to the sample, we can tell that this is the most stable chord, so we're probably in the key of B flat major. So in its most basic form, we have a C minor chord. We have the root, the third, and the fifth, and then the root, the third, and then the root going back down, like that. Now this chord gets really cool when we add this D on top because it makes it a C minor ninth. And the reason why it's a C minor 9 is because when we count up from C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we get this now. And the reason why this note works so well is because it's also the third in the B flat major. So 1, 2, 3. So it's kind of like this note is just being sustained throughout the entire chord progression. It's like this note is the anchor and all the voices are moving around it. And in between the two chords, there's a B flat that plays, and in the context of C minor, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So when you put all this together, it creates a really awesome color. Really tick sound. Now the next chord is just a basic B flat major chord. There's a D in the middle, but it is just the third of the chord. And then after that, it just repeats itself. The next chord progression is actually a bit more complicated. So here's the next chord progression. Now these next two chords in its basic form are the E flat major and the D minor. Now if you look here, there's still that D that's still being sustained at the top, just like the last chord progression. And because of this D at the top, this first chord is now an E flat major 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Really, really good sound. Now this second chord is where it kind of gets complicated. This chord in its most basic form is a D minor chord. We have the D in the bass here, and then we do have that one D at the top, but it's the middle voices that get really complicated. In a normal D minor chord, we have a D, an F, and an A. Just like that. Now the first thing they do is they make it a suspended fourth. So they take the third, which is the F, and they move it 1, 2, 3, 4, up to this G here. So it has a lot of tension now. The next thing they do is another suspension. They move this root up to the second like this, and then halfway, it goes back down to the D. And the reason the second is here and not here is because we're still in the key of B flat major. So in this context, it goes right there. So now we have this. And keep in mind, there's still a D at the top and a D at the base. Now this chord progression sounds really crunchy. Especially like here, there's a lot of voices close together like this. But when you put this on an instrument like a pad, the voices get really soft and they blend into each other really well. So listen to this now. We're gonna do one more song. It's gonna be Drip Too Hard by Lil Baby. So let's take a look at the top melody first. So this is a really good example of syncopation, and if you don't know what that is, syncopation is putting emphasis on the weak beats. So these are strong beats, and these are weak beats. I'm gonna play it with the metronome at the same time so you can really hear it. It just makes the rhythm so much more interesting. Like for example, we can take out the syncopation if we move notes like this. We'll go like that. One more here, and this last one here. Let's listen to it now. It's lame, so lame. So think about the rhythms next time you're putting down your melody. Under this, we have the bass going on. We have this F sharp here, then it goes down to the D, then it goes to the C sharp, and then back to the D. This first chord is pretty normal. We pretty much just have this F sharp minor. Now the second chord is kind of cool because at the top they are still playing the F sharp minor. But when he puts this D at the bass here, it creates a D major 7. After that, it's pretty simple. We have this normal C sharp minor chord here. And then we go back to this D in the bass, which would make it a D major. But there's actually no other voices playing besides this A. So this is the top melody. And under that melody, we also have this playing. Once again, we have this feeling of syncopation. And in terms of what's going on, this A is the 3rd in F sharp minor. It's the 5th in D major. This G sharp is the 5th in C sharp minor. And then we go back to the D major like this. And that's pretty much the theory of the whole track. They do this thing that I really like. They put a really short delay on the guitars and it gives it a lot of forward rhythm. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you want me to do this again. We can do more trap songs or we can do a whole different genre. Just comment it below and I'll see you guys soon.
If you have any suggestions, leave a comment. If you like this video, leave a like. If you really like this video, subscribe. If you didn't like this video, leave. Just leave. Get out of here.